act of law enforcement. It was not. Even the Biden administration didn't really bother to pretend otherwise. The official explanations that we have heard for the raid make no sense at all. It doesn't matter how forcefully they are repeated by the media, they're nonsensical. In case you've forgotten what they are, here's the very first explanation they gave us.
Why did this guy have these ultra-classified documents in the basement of Mar-a-Lago, unsecured, where they could be presumably broken in on or stolen or photographed and given to hostile foreign powers or conceivably even terrorists?
Are you listening to this? So it's not just classified documents in the basement of Mar-a-Lago, but according to Michael Beschloss, the pet historian of the half-wits who run our country, these are ultra-classified documents, the most classified kind.
But they are. What? Why is he mad? But they are. They have the top secret classification status. What the fuck? Why is he mad? It's true. They literally are. Tucker Carlson was on vacation, so he didn't have to fucking do any commentary when they didn't know. But now he's back from vacation, and we do know. So why is he? Oh my God. Okay. All right. Let's continue.
Just sitting there helpless in boxes like maidens in bikinis, waiting to be photographed by terrorists. You just imagine Al-Qaeda taking selfies with these documents, one after the other, relentlessly, repulsive and terrifying. Is it true? At this point, no one has provided proof that it is true, not that august historians like Michael Beschloss wait around for actual evidence before pronouncing final judgment on cable news shows. They just go ahead. But for the sake of argument on our show, we're going to say that it is in fact true, and that Donald Trump did in fact have boxes of classified documents sitting in his cellar. Let's say that's true. What would it mean? Well, what it means depends in part on what the documents were. Did those documents contain meaningful information? Should they have been classified in the first place? Is there a good reason the rest of us should not have been allowed to see those documents? Now, you never hear those...
Wait, what? That's exactly... Wait, what? He's already saying... Yes. Like, all of these questions he's asking have answers, and almost all of them are, like, the same answer. It's just... Yeah, no, these are top secret classification documents. I mean, I'm fine with, like, revealing this information. I am. I think it's great. You know, declassify them. I mean, unless it's, like, literally documents. But they're not going to fucking... they're not going to be like, hey, this top secret classified document features these set of details. That would kind of destroy the point, right? Of the classification, I mean. Like, you can't really do that. And I think Tucker Carlson knows that. And that's precisely why he's saying, like, come on, do it, pussy. Do it.
Questions asked in public, but anyone who lives in Washington knows perfectly well they should be asked in public a lot. Because in Washington, virtually anything can qualify as an official state secret, and often does. In 2011, to name one of many examples, the CIA finally declassified a trove of documents from the First World War. These documents dated back to 1917, almost 100 years before. One of these documents, the most ultra-secret of them, contained a recipe for disappearing ink. Now, why would federal bureaucrats spend an entire century hiding an outdated recipe for ink that you can buy legally in any magic store for your fifth grader? Good question. No one asked it. Instead, then CIA Director Leon Panetta issued a press release bragging about how he was giving the secret ink recipe to a grateful public. Quote, "These documents remained classified for nearly a century until recent advancements in technology made it possible to release them," Panetta wrote. "When historical information is no longer sensitive, we take seriously our responsibility to share it with the American people." Now, there's no hint whatsoever that...
So does he think that, like, the recipe for invisible ink, which I guess, like, the dumbasses thought was, like, incredibly important at the time and wanted to, like, keep it a secret, does he think, like, if it is nuclear, as what whistleblowers have alleged, and is what the reporting is on it, like, is Tucker Carlson saying, like, everyone should just have access to the nuclear information? It's, like, kind of outdated. Like, nukes are kind of washed now, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it, YOLO, release it.
That Panetta was joking when he wrote that. "You're welcome, America. Here's your century-old ink recipe." Again, this was in 2011, so think it through. You had to wonder, what recent technological advancements was Leon Panetta talking about in the press release? And just how recent were they? Was Panetta actually saying that CIA spies were still communicating in World War I era disappearing ink as of, say, 2010? Or even as of 1950? Please. It was bizarre. Of course, it was another lie from the people in charge. Here's the truth. The documents have been classified for 100 years, not because disappearing ink was any sort of national security secret. They've been classified because the government's default position in every case is that you have no right to see anything ever. It is their information. It is not yours. Yours the citizen. Yours the taxpayer. Shut up and pay for it all. To this day, there are large amounts of classified information remaining.
Bro, I love that. Tucker Carlson's literally like, declassify all documents in an effort to save Donald Trump. In an effort to fucking save, he's like, declassify all documents. It is the proletarian way. Now, when a fucking Twitter anarchist says this, we laugh at them. But when Tucker Carlson says this, all the fucking chuds and all the edgy leftists are like, yeah, he's kind of right. I love that. I mean, I'm in favor of declassifying a lot of documents, okay? Especially ones that directly lead to America's involvement in war crimes, 9/11, yada, 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 okay? But there are also certain documents that might not be declassified. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like certain things, it's like, let's keep the mystery. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like how to enrich uranium. I don't know. Exactly. That shit is secret keeping to save face, but nuclear shit probably should be a secret. I don't know. I think like maybe that's just me. I don't know. I'm a little afraid of nukes, so
from World War II. These are documents written 80 years ago by people whose grandchildren are now old. But you still can't see it. You don't have the clearances. Sorry. So when they tell you that Donald Trump had classified documents in his basement, those materials could be literally anything. But once again, for the sake of argument, we're going to stipulate that Trump did have possession of documents that were classified for some good reason. Documents that, for example, we legitimately would not want the Chinese government to see. If that is true, would it justify what happened? Would it justify sending a large team of federal agents?
yes. Yeah. Wait, what? No? Is he going to say no to that? Wait, I don't understand. Yes, I think so. Especially, once again, the funniest part of this fucking story is that the FBI didn't want to even do any of this. They literally just were like, dude, please give us the docs back. Like, what are you doing? Just give it back. Give it back.
Agents to shut down the entire southern tip of Palm Beach to raid Mar-a-Lago on a weekday. No, it wouldn't. So one of the laws they're telling you that Trump broke doesn't even have criminal penalties attached to it because it's not serious enough. Federal paramilitaries don't show up at your house when you violate the president.
Wait, what? Okay, one of them isn't. Wait, what? But some of them are. Wait, but he's not going to talk about that? What? Wait, why is this? What is happening, dude? I mean, I guess, like, this is good propaganda if your audience is really fucking dumb. I don't know. Like, I jaywalked after robbing that bank and killing someone, so why am I being imprisoned? The punishment for jaywalking is not imprisonment. Exactly. That's exactly what he's saying.
Presidential Records Act. And in fact, as we later learned, the actual warrant for the raid, which was signed by an openly partisan judge who, because you couldn't make any of this up if you tried, once represented Jeffrey Epstein's side in the famous underage sex case, that judge allowed the FBI to seize.
Have. the Dersh on every night. Why are you shitting on a Trump-appointed judge who quite literally, of course, defended Jeffrey Epstein's secretary or some shit? Of course. These are reactionary fucking judges that get elevated into those positions because that's what they do. That's what right-wingers do, okay? You also have Jeffrey Epstein's friend on regularly, Alan Dershowitz. You also fail to mention that Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And Mar-a-Lago, the place that the feds raided, was a hunting ground for Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Okay? Jeffrey Epstein recruited the young girls that he sex trafficked, some of them out of Mar-a-Lago, most famously Virginia Giuffre. And not only that, but also Trump's labor secretary was the prosecutor on the Epstein case that gave him the insane sweetheart plea bargain. Like the unimaginable insane sweetheart plea bargain deal. Alex Acosta. How are you going to bring up Epstein without any of these other important fucking mentions here?
Virtually every piece of paper in Donald Trump's house, whether or not it had ever been classified. They took Roger Stone's clemency order, for example. That had been on the front page of the Washington Post, so it was therefore probably not a secret. Apparently, the feds even walked off with Donald Trump's passports, preventing him from leaving the country. So whatever else this raid was not about the Presidential Records Act. That explanation is absurd. It's almost as ridiculous as the claim that the White House knew nothing about the raid before it happened. Right. Please. If they're going to lie to us, they ought to try a little harder. So what was this raid about? Well, we're keeping track, so here's the second explanation they gave us.
Now with Donald Trump, suddenly, when we're talking about the possibility of nuclear weapons, classified documents of the highest classified status being stolen from the White House and taken to Mar-a-Lago.
Just a reminder of why the Justice Department might be a little bit concerned about nuclear secrets knocking around Mar-a-Lago.
2 words for you, my friend. 2 words. Nuclear secrets.
What? Nuclear secrets? Nuclear secrets are the highest classified status. Ultra secret nuclear secrets. Donald Trump stole those. Ladies and gentlemen, America is in danger tonight. That was their new explanation.
Bro, what? Like, I don't even think, look, I don't know what to say about this because, like, his counter to this is just by repeating what these guys are saying, but with, like, a funny voice. And I guess, like, that's an incredibly effective counter for his audience, but that's just, like, that's just what it is. Nuclear secrets.
For the raid. Now, that revised storyline was leaked anonymously to an obedient press corps, which, as you just saw, repeated every word like it was verifiable fact. Yet once again, no one even bothered to explain what these nuclear secrets might be. What's a nuclear?
I'm calling it. Tucker Carlson is going to mention that the media knew about the nuclear secrets being transferred over to Saudi Arabia back in 2019. And they didn't do anything about it then. The Democrats, the demon rats, in 2019, didn't say anything about it then, which they did. But he's going to say they didn't say anything about it back then. And why is it a big deal now? Because Donald Trump is going to run for president.
Nuclear secret, exactly. And what did Trump plan to do with them? Did he plan to defect to Moscow? Give the launch codes to Vladimir Putin? Start his own rogue state in the Bahamas? Nobody said. But that didn't stop former CIA Director Michael Hayden from suggesting that Donald Trump should be executed, fried to death in the electric chair for committing these crimes, whatever these crimes were. We still don't know. There weren't a lot of facts floating around. There still aren't. But there was a reason for that. They couldn't tell you the whole story. They couldn't release all the documents because that would jeopardize American national security. So instead, you're just going to have to trust them. And of course, you're going to have to listen to their outrage. There was a lot of that. There was endless huffing on television about something called the rule of law and how absolutely no one is above that. No one, not even a former president. We're informed of this by the same people who...
Wait, but yeah, But yeah, why is he doing the weird... Dude, I think you don't get away with this level of rhetoric, this kind of rhetoric, unless cognitive dissonance is set in so fucking firmly in your audience. You can't do that. Like, you can't. They're doing it because, like, everybody knows that if you're on Team Trump, it doesn't matter. Like, Tucker Carlson could just get away with saying it sarcastically. Like, at the top of the hour, there's a 6-second ad break. Aha! That's what this socialist is trying to serve you. He claims victim of capitalism. But as a matter of fact, he loves debating his audience by serving them top of the hour ad breaks. What's going on? Now, of course, if you no longer want to see those ads, well, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free. Or, if you're lucky, if you're a good boy, then you can get gifted a sub. Aaron101, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. And a bot, 5,000. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Allowing 10 people to no longer see the ads. The tyranny. The horror. That's how he laughs as he serves you the 1-minute ad break. Icy Rhino, they give it the 5 gifted subs.
Who paid rioters to burn down our cities, the ones who eliminated bail, the ones who encouraged tens of millions of foreign
Permit suicide. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs.
nationals to ignore our federal immigration statutes and move to our country permanently at public expense as a reward for breaking our laws. But keep in mind, no one is above the law. That was definitely the word from Joe Scarborough, a man who was accused of committing murder while serving as a member of Congress, yet somehow moved seamlessly to the MSNBC.
Wait, which party was Joe Scarborough a part of? Wait. Joe Scarborough, Morning Joe. Oh, that's right. He was in Florida, and he was a Republican. Interesting. Also, the fucking murder investigation was concluded, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but, like, it absolved him, so.
lineup without being charged or even investigated. No one is above the law! Remember that. So there was an awful lot of posturing in the days after the raid, but none of it was very effective because, again, it didn't make sense. Even propaganda has to add up. 2 + 2 = 9 doesn't convince anybody. Nuclear secrets? If the Biden administration really believed that, if they really thought Donald Trump possessed documents that posed an imminent danger to American national security, then you have to wonder, why'd they wait 1.5 years to do anything about it? Why did they wait till 90 days before a midterm election? An elections that polls suggest they will lose. It doesn't make
90 days before a midterm election? Brother, Trump is not running for fucking comptroller in Texas, okay? The fuck do you mean? Trump is not even running for president yet.
Oh, wait, actually, it does make sense. In fact, the question answers itself. Despite superficial appearances, the raid on Mar-a-Lago was not an act of law enforcement. It was the opposite of that. It was an attack on the rule of law. It was a power grab. As Matt Booz put it recently in American Greatness, the raid on Trump's home, quote, was exactly what it looks like, a show of force against the opposition leader by the head of state and his personal bodyguards. If this happened in any other country, it would immediately be denounced as the act of a dictator, end quote. That's true, but it's hard to hear those words anyway. As an American, you don't want to believe.
Yeah, you should be allowed to keep whatever top secret material that you want to keep. And every other democratic country would agree with that. If you want to fucking sell it, once you're president, it's over. You're God King. Okay? And any other developed nation would agree with this. If you can do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, he called dibs. Exactly. The head of the FBI, by the way, the security detail that he's talking about was quite literally appointed by Donald Trump, but you know.
Believe it. And yet here are the essential facts. The same week the Biden White House announced that Joe Biden will definitely seek a second term as president, the same week the Biden Justice Department launched an armed raid against Biden's main rival in that same presidential election. That's what happened. Pause for a minute. If the New York...
Yeah, except Donald Trump didn't fucking announce that he's running for president. Even if he would, it's not fucking 90 days out of the election. Okay? Yeah, I did pause. He said pause for a minute, and I'm pausing. And lastly, why has Tucker Carlson not mentioned that the FBI, and I cannot repeat this enough, why has Tucker Carlson not mentioned that the FBI had asked politely for a year I don't understand. It's not like they were like, YOLO, let's go. Let's raid, baby. Let's ride.
New York Times told you that something like that was going on in Chad or the Gambia, what would your reaction be? You'd probably say to yourself, thank God I don't live in a place like that, a country where politicians used armed men to cling to power. Oh, but you do live in a country like that. You do. The evidence is all around us. We just don't want to see it. A week to the day after Joe Biden was inaugurated, the FBI arrested a 31-year-old man from Vermont called Douglas Mackey. According to the subsequent DOJ press release, Mackey had committed an extremely serious crime. Like Vladimir Putin, he had conspired to subvert the 2016 presidential election. In a tweet, Mackey had suggested, but not explicitly said, but suggested, that it was possible to vote for Hillary Clinton by text message. This act, proclaimed acting U.S. Attorney Seth Ducharme, was a grave felony, a felony punishable by 10 years in prison. Mackey's tweet, Ducharme said, amounted to, quote, misinformation to defraud citizens of their right to vote. Assistant FBI...
Wait, what? I don't even know. What the fuck? Is that even something that happened? What happened to this guy? Also, if you're talking about fucking arresting someone for a tweet, why doesn't he talk about the dude, the anarchist dude from Florida, that is currently serving a fucking prison sentence for literally saying we have to arm ourselves against right-wing Nazis? That dude is literally in jail right now. Social media influencer charged with election interference campaign stemming from voter disinformation campaign. Defendant unlawfully used social media to deprive individuals their right to vote. Okay. He charged with criminal complaint. What happened? How long was his prison sentence? Oh, dude, he just straight up, he was straight up trying to get people to not vote. This is illegal. He took a photo. He allegedly tweeted an image that featured an African-American woman standing in front of an African-Americans for Candidate sign. The image included the following text: avoid the line, vote from home, text candidate's name, vote for the candidate, and be a part of history. The fine print at the bottom of the image stated, must be 18 or older to vote. One vote per person, must be a legal citizen of the United States, voting by text not available in Guam, Puerto Rico, Alaska, or Hawaii. Paid for candidate for president 2016. And that actually led to 4,900 unique telephone numbers. What? Yeah, I mean, that's... It's because Tucker doesn't actually care. He's a fascist that makes you think... I mean, I know he doesn't care. He got 5,000 people to fucking not go out and vote. That's crazy. I know we hate Rachel Maddow, but at least they show sources and facts related to what they're talking about. He's just rambling with no proof. Yeah, but he's also way more content than Rachel Maddow.
Director William Sweeney confirmed...
Yeah, here, Daniel Baker, Florida anarchist will spend years in prison for online posts prompted by January 6th. He called for armed defense against possible far-right attacks after January 6th, and the FBI fucking locked him up. Okay, let's see what this other...
Confirmed that Douglas Mackey had in fact committed, quote, vote theft.
Pasta HD says, what about Hillary Clinton's email server full of calcified documents that Huma Abedin had access to? Brother, I agree with you. What about it? Why didn't Donald Trump fucking lock Hillary Clinton like he promised? I'm more disappointed than you are, apparently, because I actually want to fucking hold Donald Trump accountable. That motherfucker said he was going to lock Hillary Clinton, and he didn't arrest her. Are you fucking joking? Because that's wrong? Wait, what? What do you mean? You're saying it's wrong to arrest Hillary Clinton? Sets a bad precedent? No, it's a good precedent. Fuck you, you fucking cuck. You want Hillary Clinton to fucking breathe the free man's air? Get the fuck out of here. Sets a bad precedent. We don't jail political opponents. Yeah, fuck you, pussy. You're a fucking pussy and a dumbass, okay? I'm on board. Lock them up, bitch. Lock them up. You voted for a guy who fucking literally said lock him up. And then he didn't. You're the cuck. I'm not the one who's fucking upset. You're the cuck ideologue. Bitch, you're the one who straight up voted for a guy and is going out the bat for a guy who said he was going to lock Hillary Clinton up. That's a failed campaign promise, okay? Yeah, you're a bitch. You're a bitch. Lock him up.
So, as befitting a criminal of his magnitude, Mackey was handcuffed. And
I think I broke this dude's brain, by the way. So he just, you're the cuck ideologue.
Federal judge in Florida called Bruce Reinhart. As it turns out, the same magistrate who authorized last week's raid on Mar-a-Lago. Weird. Then Mackey was hauled off to jail. Now, Mackey's arrest seemed like a significant story, but at the time, media coverage was relatively scant and almost uniformly credulous. The reporters who covered it simply clipped quotes from the DOJ press release and moved on to something else. Why? Well, the New York Times set the tone early by describing Mackey as, quote, a far-right Twitter troll. Far-right Twitter troll is not a technical term. In fact, it has no agreed-upon meaning of any kind. It is slang, and slang is something that serious newspapers never include in news stories.
What?
But in this case, the term far-right Twitter troll had a use. It sent an unmistakable message to the country, and in particular to the rest of the media. And it was this: Douglas Mackey is a dangerous person with unspeakably ugly views. He deserves to be locked up. And so he was. There was no consideration of the merits of the government's case against Douglas Mackey, but there should have been, because the case was...
Brother, if you could be locked up for far-right Twitter trolling, you would literally be under the jail. They would have executed you, okay, by firing squad. Obviously, there are certain limitations to free speech. One of that is to willingly and deliberately spread misinformation during an election cycle with the absolute purpose of trying to stop people from going out and voting. You can't actually go out to a fucking polling station, even wearing Trump merch, by the way, which Trump supporters did regardless. But there are certain rules, okay? You can't go to a polling station and stop people from voting. If you can't do that, then you can't do that online as well. Okay? And that's what this fucking guy did. Tucker Carlson knows this. He knows that reality. That's why he doesn't fucking violate certain free speech restrictions that he's very well aware of.
It was absurd. If Mackey's tweets were so threatening to our system of government, to our democracy, then why did the Department of Justice wait more than 4 years until the week Donald Trump left office to charge him? And if Mackey actually stole the votes of American citizens, as the FBI repeatedly alleged that he did, whose votes were stolen? Who exactly were the victims of Douglas Mackey's crimes? The media never asked, the Biden administration never said. As of tonight, the Justice Department has never identified a single person who was prevented from voting or from doing anything else by what Douglas Mackey tweeted. Because there weren't any people. Those people didn't exist. Douglas Mackey was not a criminal mastermind running a conspiracy to commit voter fraud. Douglas Mackey was an internet prankster. His job was to think up funny memes on his laptop in his bedroom. That's what he did. Here's one of his memes on the screen.
I want to see the phone numbers of the 5,000 people that didn't actually end up voting, and they foolishly thought texting would be enough to vote. They are ready to go to war for her or you.
Hashtag draft our daughters, Mackey wrote, and what was very...
Like, that's not even that bad of a fucking meme. God. They're using his best work.
obviously a fake tweet from the Hillary Clinton campaign. They're ready to go to war for her. Are you? Pretty funny. Mackey was mocking Hillary Clinton. No one could miss that. He wasn't subverting elections. He was making fun of the candidate. And in fact, no one did miss that.
Wait. Hey, pussy. Why don't you show the actual meme that he fucking put out there then? Because that's not why they arrested him. What the fuck?
Not a single person in America actually believed that Douglas Mackey's Twitter memes infringed on, quote, one of the most basic and sacred rights guaranteed by the Constitution, the right to vote. Absolutely no one believed that. No one could believe that because it's too stupid a claim to believe.
Because that's not the claim. The claim, the FBI or the Department of Justice's claim wasn't, oh man, he's making some real spicy memes about Hillary Clinton.
And yet Nicholas McQuaid, who went to Columbia Law School and is now Joe Biden's assistant attorney general, made that claim anyway, verbatim, and did so with a straight face. Quote, Douglas Mackey, threat to democracy. So he faces 10 years.
Bro, he didn't fucking, oh my God, he memed his way into prison. It's pretty funny. But I do find that hilarious. But that's not what, that wasn't the meme, dog. That wasn't the meme. You're not showing the actual meme. I mean, this is the same exact thing that he did earlier to talk about like the out of the laundry list of crimes that Donald Trump had committed with respect to classified documents. He chose to mention the only one that doesn't have like a serious harsh criminal punishment. And in this one, he's doing the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing that he's doing. He's like, well, look at this meme. That's funny. Why is he going to jail for this meme? It's like, well, that's not the meme that he's going to jail for. As a Tucker Carlson fan, you should at the very least demand a little bit more information, right? Even if you're a fan of Tucker Carlson, you should be like, wait a minute, what? That's the meme he went to jail for? What crimes did he violate? Well, of course, Tucker Carlson's not going to tell you that. But yeah, we already mentioned that there were... The complaint alleges that in 2016, Mackey established an audience on Twitter with approximately 58,000 followers. In February 2016, announced by the MIT Media Lab ranked Mackey as the 107th most important influential in the then coming election. Okay. As alleged in the complaint, between September and November, in the lead up to the November 8th, 2016 U.S. presidential election, Mackey conspired with others to use social media platforms, including Twitter, to disseminate fraudulent messages designed to encourage supporters of one of these presidential candidates, the candidate, to vote via text message or social media, a legally invalid method of voting. Okay? That is election interference. Like, that is literally, you can't do that. You can't do electioneering, and you can't do election interference in this regard. Wait, what? Here's an image of the meme. Yeah, this was the meme that he posted. African Americans for President Hillary, avoid the line, vote from home. Text Hillary to 59925. Okay? Don't we have some of the safest and most accurate elections in the world? They just don't matter. So he posted this, and it was successful. And he ended up tweeting that, avoid the line, vote for the candidate, and another slogan frequently used by the candidate, whatever, da-da-da. And it got at least 4,900 unique telephone numbers. So that means it stopped at least 4,900 people from going out to vote. You understand? Okay, but those people are hella dumb if they fall for that. I know, but your grandma's hella dumb. You know that? And also, I know, but that's why there are laws around it. You are describing why there are laws around tampering with people's right to exercise their vote. That is literally the reason why there is a law around it. Because there's a lot of dumb people. You understand? That's why the motherfucker went to jail. You get it?
Years in prison. The DOJ press release said that. 3 paragraphs later, the same press release inadvertently acknowledged what was actually going on. In the run-up to the 2016 election, the DOJ explained, Douglas Mackey had gained more influence on Twitter than either NBC News or, gasp, Stephen Colbert himself. Now, the criminal complaint against Douglas Mackey actually spells that out. You can read it for yourself. It's still online.
The reason why they mention that is not because Tucker Carlson is so good at fucking propagandizing. He's going to say, like, it's because they were jealous of him. Okay? Yeah, dude. The DOJ is working alongside liberal libtard media to arrest people that are posting too hard. Okay? No, you fucking idiot. That's not how this works. By the way, personally, if you want to hear my actual opinion on this, I don't think that dude should have gone to jail for that fucking meme. Straight up. I don't think so. He was able to subvert 4,900 people from potentially voting. Sure, fine. It should have been taken down by Twitter. What the fuck? Okay, but I don't think he should have gone to jail for that. That's crazy. Okay? But this idea that, like, it's just for fucking jokes that the DOJ prosecuted him because they were jealous. You're too nice to hogs? Well, I mean, I have, like, principles, you know what I mean? That's, like, fucking nuts.
The Biden administration argued that on Twitter, people liked Douglas Mackey more than they liked NBC News.
Why not? Because it's on Twitter? The reason why I don't think he should be going to fucking jail for this is because the punishment is really aggro for a crime that opens the door to a weird precedent of, like, any kind of fucking post could technically fall within that precedent. You have empathy over someone who has no empathy towards you? Yeah, of course, man. I want Nazis to fucking have healthcare too. When I say free education and free healthcare, I mean, you know. Wait, what? The number he had the text on the meme is also numerology, white supremacist dog whistling. It's the first 3 letters of a slur. What do you mean? I think you guys are wrong about that. Anyway, that's irrelevant to this conversation.
Or Stephen Colbert. Now, that may not seem bad to you. It may seem fine, having grown up as you did in a country where people were allowed to choose what they read. But according to the government Joe Biden now runs, that's a felony.
Yeah, he's saying that
now, you
like,
don't have to be a right-winger to find that terrifying. In a free country, you have an absolute right to say what you think in public, period. Doesn't matter who is offended by what you say. It doesn't matter if people consider your views ugly. Even if every person on the planet finds your opinions horrifying and beyond the pale, you still have the right to express them because you were born with that right. It's inherent. You cannot be sent to prison for your political views, ever. That is the core principle of the United States. That is the principle that Marines fought their way to the top of Mount Suribachi to protect. So whatever you think of his memes, Douglas Mackey's freedom of speech was very much worth defending. But virtually nobody defended it.
Like, you can be of the mindset that what he did was a crime, and understandably so, and openly admit the details of it, and then still say, I don't think the punishment fits the crime in this circumstance. Tucker Carlson is, of course, never going to do that. He instead lied about what this dude had done, made it seem like the DOJ was doing this because they're jealous of a fucking young, thriving memetics entrepreneur, okay? And that they're working alongside not only Joe Biden, but also alongside, like, John Oliver and shit. Okay? Text to vote is not an opinion. I know, it's not. It's a way to manipulate people away from actually voting, and apparently it was very successful. But, of course, you might be asking, why the fuck are we talking about this? Because that's how Tucker Carlson does his commentary. Now, what stays in your mind is an association of the DOJ acting in this like incredibly partisan way. After all, they literally investigated and also jailed a guy for fucking memes, and funny ones at that. You know what I mean? Which is not true, obviously. And he already fucking completely cast aside the Trump accusations.
Aside from a few brave and honorable exceptions, even so-called conservative media stayed silent as Douglas Mackey's life was destroyed by the Biden Justice Department. He's still in limbo, facing 10 years. Why? Well, because the New York Times had called him a far-right Twitter troll, and no respectable person wanted to be anywhere near that. So the purge continued. Douglas Mackey may have been...
If you interfere in an election, you shouldn't go to jail? No, I think, first of all, there's two different parties that should be viable here. I mean, should be held accountable to a certain degree. One, Twitter should have fucking had proper mechanisms to immediately this thing. Okay? Immediately eat this before it reached as many people as it did and successfully stopped around 4,900, 5,000 people from voting. That's one. Two, I'm not saying there should be no punishment for fucking personally manipulating people away from voting. Of course there should be punishment for it. Okay? The punishment should still, at the very least, fit the crime. I don't even think he actually went to jail, though. I think Tucker Carlson's lying about that. Not entirely certain how many years he got, but, you know, a fine. Stopping him from using the internet for a couple years. Shit like that. These are things you can use on hackers. Why can't you use it on a fucking guy like this?
The first victim of the new authoritarianism, but he was hardly the last one. Over the last 18 months, virtually every significant figure in the orbit around Donald Trump has been swept up by Merrick Garland's Department of Justice. Their homes raided, their personal communications seized and leaked to the media. Some have been arrested and thrown in jail. Donald Trump's lawyers are the primary targets. Today, the DOJ subpoenaed Eric Hirschman. He represented Trump during the first impeachment. Hirschman never worked in the White House counsel's office. The Biden administration is going after him anyway because he gave legal advice to his client, Donald Trump. That used to be allowed. People used to be allowed to have lawyers and speak to them privately, but that's not allowed anymore. That's why the CIA seized attorney-client records from Mar-a-Lago. It's also why the DOJ is now directly targeting Trump's most prominent personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani.
This is one of those situations where, like, because Trump has committed so many different fucking crimes, and because he's committed said crimes in the most laughable ways possible, there are, of course, going to be numerous avenues, right? There are, of course, going to be numerous avenues to be able to tap in and you know, pick the organization apart to find people that you can flip. But that's not on the fucking federal government. That's on Trump. He should have covered his fucking ass better. But because he was in real estate in New York for as long as he was and in Florida, he didn't have to do that. So he just basically got to a level of power and prominence by having his fucking rich-ass dad bail him out of all manner of different financial circumstances that he got himself into. And he was able to get away by, like, strong-arming people, by telling contractors he's going to pay them, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars and then just, like, never paying them. You know what I mean? Like, all this shit he got away with. So he thought he could continue doing it within the White House. And you have a lot of leeway in the American legal framework. The American criminal justice system favors the rich, okay? There is so many fucking laws that basically legalize corruption, legalize bribery, legalize this kind of fucking, trafficking of your own name, of your own brand. But he doesn't fucking do any of that. He wants to just do it in the same way that he used to do it because he got away with it. And then, of course, people are going to fucking shit on him. Of course people are going to use that against them. Like, what do you mean? You literally did not do the right thing. You could have done it in the right way. It's like Dinesh D'Souza going to jail for straw donations, okay? Campaign finance law is purposely written in a way that makes it so easy to dump as much money as you want into a fucking candidate. Like, as much, unlimited funds, by way of super PACs. Okay? But Dinesh D'Souza was so fucking stupid that he literally did this by directly giving other people money to go help out his friend who was a candidate who lost by a gigantic margin regardless. Like, why did you do it like that? You could have done it the legal way. In America, you can bribe politicians legally. You can help politicians out legally. Okay? But this fucking idiot thought that he could get away with it in the illegal way. And that's the craziest part. Donald Trump routinely did a fuckload of criminal shit, and he did it in the worst way possible. Okay? That's the issue. Because these guys are, one, really fucking stupid. That's why they're conservative. And two, they're incredibly entitled. They think legal scrutiny will not catch up to them. That's why they were doing it the way that they are. And that's why Tucker Carlson can use how many different fucking angles are currently at play here to make it seem like there's something nefarious going on. It's like, no, dude, there is nothing nefarious going on. It's just Donald Trump is that fucking bad. And he was always that bad. And I don't mean bad in the sense that, like, he's a bad guy. Like, obviously he's a fucking bad guy. Every American president is, right? Like, he was immoral, certainly. And he was more immoral than the even average American president in many ways. But when I say he's bad, I mean, like, he was negligent. Like, he was inept. He was bad at being corrupt. You know what I mean? He was dumb. He was stupid. And that's the reason why he's getting his ass clapped currently.
For years, the feds have been going after Giuliani's associates, including a man called George Dixon. Dixon was working on a documentary about Hunter Biden. Last year, the FBI raided his home in California. The feds also broke into Giuliani's own apartment, as well as his office in New York. Then the FBI targeted a Giuliani associate called Igor Fruman because he dug up evidence of misconduct by Joe Biden in Ukraine. They sent Fruman to prison. Then the FBI seized the phone of prominent conservative attorney Victoria Tenzing. She'd worked with Giuliani in 2020 to investigate election fraud. They raided her home.
You are so bad at this, we have to give you some slaps, bro. Oh, you're talking about Donald Trump, yeah.
Today, the DOJ announced that...
Again, it's like the same concept, bro. You hired Rudy Giuliani, who was just bad at his fucking job as well. And we know that Donald Trump tried to fucking change the outcome of the Georgia election results. Like, what the fuck do you mean? He literally said on the phone, we heard it. You heard it. I heard it. Everybody fucking heard Donald Trump say, we need to find 11,000 votes. It's so weird that we have to act like we have to play this song and dance. And liberals do this too, where, like, we're playing the song and dance that like Donald Trump actually is like doing all this stuff for an additional underlying 5-head purpose. It's like, no, dude, he's just like reacting like a fucking animal, okay? You snap at him and he snaps back. That's it. That's it. Sometimes it's that simple. He is just reacting to shapes, okay? Like that's it. It's not like an underlying nefarious widespread conspiracy that like he's Vladimir Putin's puppet or anything like that. He's just a fucking dumb guy who knows how to read the room and a dumb con man who conned his way into the fucking White House. And America is full of dumb guys like that. And that's precisely why, Donald Trump is so loved by a gigantic swath of the population. Not every American president. We have potato farmer Jimmy Carter. Man, Jimmy Carter did a lot of fucked up shit too. Get out of here. You're a leftist. Like, come the fuck on. I forgot to talk about this on the Macro Dosing podcast, but Noam Chomsky talks directly about the crimes of prior presidents, and Carter's involvement in Camp David came along with an increase in Israel's security funding, which made our entire foreign expenditure, our entire foreign military expenditure, the majority of our entire military expenditure, like foreign aid, became Israeli defense, in an effort to get them to agree to get them to agree to the Camp David Accords. Jimmy Carter is the reason why the Democratic Party abandoned the working class. Like, yeah, Jimmy Carter is not great either. Come on. Also, Chomsky was doing Navy-funded and utilized research at MIT. What? Why is there so much fucking anti-Chomsky shit out there? Yeah, dude, he's 98 years old. You're not going to like some of his fucking takes. Okay? Yeah. This guy, look at this. Jimmy Carter. Damn, I had a flight insurance though Apollo was in rural Alaska. Libya also had a nuclear program until they rolled it back in the early 2000s. Whoops. Jimmy Carter's involvement in the East Timor genocide. It's cool that famous genocide and war atrocity denier Noam Chomsky pointed that out about Carter. Yeah, famously. Chomsky is a genocide denier. I know exactly where you get your information from. You guys are the most predictable and fucking annoying parts of the internet left, okay? The online left acts like they fucking read books, but all they end up doing is just watch the same fucking 45-minute YouTube video by some like ex-Nazi shithead, okay? And then go, I'm going to repeat exactly what I read. I'm going to repeat exactly what I watched in the same fucking YouTube video that everyone else watched. That's like, it's 45 minutes long. It's the same as fucking reading a book, right? By literally a fucking still reactionary ex-Nazi, who now is just reactionary, but he's a neoliberal or whatever the fuck. Okay? And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm the foremost authority on this. Yes. Noam Chomsky's dedicated anti-imperialist work over the course of his entire life is completely just casted aside because a YouTuber said he's a genocide denier.
Official Jeff Clark. They left him on the street in his underwear for maximum humiliation. Then they seized John Eastman's phone. Eastman was also a Trump attorney.
Okay, these guys are boring. I don't care about like all these little details of like all the fucking the intricacies of like the Trump administration guys.
Commanded Twitter to silence Alex Berenson, and Twitter.
Oh my God, bro. This sucks. Oh, the culture war is so fucking boring. This guy is washed up. Nobody gives a fuck about him, okay? Go back to writing books about how marijuana will turn you into a fucking violent murderer, okay? God, I fucking hate the New York Times for ever giving this guy an opportunity to write to. Jesus fucking Christ.
Twitter soon did that. And we're not speculating about what happened. There are written exchanges that prove what happened. We're going to talk to Alex Berenson in a minute about the details. But the point is, this is illegal. No American government is allowed to collude with private business to silence its critics. Period. That is an unambiguous violation of the First Amendment. It's also a violation, of course, of Alex Berenson's human rights. And yet somehow, this slipped beneath notice. The New York Times didn't write about it. Why would they?
The New York Times didn't write about it. Why wouldn't anybody write about Alex Berenson's fucking banning from Twitter? Why would anyone write about it? He is fucking irrelevant. It's no different than being like, why is the New York Times not writing about my uncle who said incredibly genocidal things about black people? Why? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. It seems like free speech is being tampered in this country. No, not Cenk, man. I'm fucking Tucker Carlson in that situation. Shut the fuck up!
On some level, you understand, because what happened to Alex Berenson has happened to many, many, many critics of the Biden administration in the past year and a half. They have been censored. They have been silenced at the direction of the White House. Think about what this means. These are acts of...
Like, Alex Berenson was straight up just like fucking, again, urging people to stop getting vaccinated. Okay? It was already a direct violation of Twitter's own terms of service. So Twitter's not going to fucking randomly ban people, or can technically do that. It is in their purview. Just because they feel like it, or just because the White House told them to, okay? I don't care that the fucking Joe Biden White House was like, we got to fucking take down Alex Berenson. You know why I don't care? Because it doesn't fucking matter. He is ultimately completely irrelevant, other than the fact that he is incredibly fucking annoying. We already watched this Button episode. You're late. You're late to the game. It is silly that the White House would even know who the fuck Alex Berenson is and even mention it, okay? Even sillier that now he's getting more clout off of this dumb shit.
Aggression and hostility aimed at Americans. No American president has ever done this. No American president has ever explicitly declared war on his own population. And yet for the Biden administration, it's a near weekly occurrence. Here's Joe Biden and his Attorney General, Merrick Garland, telling you that white supremacists, in other words, Trump voters, because that's what they mean when they say white supremacists, a term they've never defined, white supremacists, Trump voters, are the single greatest terror threat the United States faces.
In the FBI's view,
What?
the top domestic violent extremist threat.
Did he just say the FBI is declaring war on us, white supremacists? What? Did I misunderstand?
And yet for the Biden administration, it's a near ever hostility aimed at Americans. No American president has ever done this. No American president has ever explicitly declared war on his own population. And yet for the Biden administration, it's a near weekly occurrence. Here's Joe Biden and his Attorney General, Merrick Garland, telling you that white supremacists, in other words, Trump voters, because that's what they mean when they say white supremacists, a term they've never defined, white supremacists, Trump voters, are the single greatest terror threat the United States faces.
In the FBI.
Wait, what? Wait. I mean, this is not new for Tucker Carlson. Also, this is not even new for fucking CPAC.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are all domestic terrorists. Please welcome founder of the... Ladies and gentlemen, we are all domestic terrorists. Please welcome founder of the...
view, the top domestic violent extremist threat comes from racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocated for the superiority of the white race.
According to the United States intelligence community, domestic terrorism from white supremacists is the most lethal terrorist threat in the homeland.
So not to be too literal, but this is on some level a news show, that's a lie. None of what you heard is true. There's not a single statistic or piece of credible research to support what Biden or his Attorney General just said.
Yeah. You know what's really fucked up? Tucker Carlson's over here. First of all, Tucker Carlson's over here fucking bringing up like, oh man, white supremacists are under attack, which we are white supremacists. Like he says that, right? But then also, he's like, oh, free speech for white supremacists or whatever. But he fucking fired his own head writer when it was outed that he was a white supremacist. Remember when that happened? Thank you, Terrence Bogards, for reminding me of that, by the way. Remember Remember when Tucker Carlson's head writer was literally writing insane fucking threads? Like Blake Neff, that was his name, yeah, which is incredible. Writing about how, like, fellas, you wouldn't want to have an Indian doctor, am I right? You need white doctors only, which is just fucking mint. Primo, love that. Really cool stuff that he was believing in, like believing that the top of the hour comes for you and you can avoid it without subscribing, which you can't, because at the top of the hour, there's still a 60-second ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe. If you're under the belief, under the suspicion, if you will, that at the top of the hour, there is no 60-second ad break, well, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. You're so wrong that you will probably see an ad. Now, of course, if you no longer want to see those ads, well, then all you need to do is this one simple trick. Subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Or, if you're lucky, you can get gifted a sub. Not many are lucky, however, and you can make your own luck. Like I said, by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Crybaby Sav gifted 5 gifted subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ad breaks. Thank you, Crybaby Sav. Here's the 1-minute ad break now.
Again, all of it is a lie. The truth, as usual, is the opposite. These are the people who created the crime wave America is suffering under, and now they're blaming you for it. And for good measure, they're disarming you because you cannot be trusted with guns because you're too dangerous. And just in case you missed the theme here, they're hiring another 87,000 armed IRS agents just to make sure that you obey. Got it? Got it? Is it clear? Amazingly, some Republican leaders still don't get it, or pretend they don't get it. Here's Asa Hutchinson, still somehow the governor of Arkansas, in a holding pattern before he transitions to the Walmart board, assuring that the FBI is completely on the level.
The FBI is simply carrying out their responsibilities under the law, a lawful search warrant that a magistrate signed off on. And they didn't go in there with FBI raid jackets. They tried to constrain their behavior carrying out that warrant. So let's support law enforcement. Let's stand with them.
Well, the FBI is just simply carrying out their responsibilities. Of course they are. Come on, will you support law enforcement? There's nothing to see here. That's the line. And no doubt Asa Hutchinson and Mitch McConnell and Dan Crenshaw and the rest of them will be telling you the very same thing when the Biden Justice Department or some other state law enforcement agency under their influence finally does what you know they're going to do, which is indict Donald Trump. Obviously, they're going to do that. Who knows how? Maybe they'll produce surveillance video from mar-a-lago. Apparently, they've already subpoenaed that. We'll spend the next year talking about how it shows Trump mishandling classified information. Really? On the server? Remember the endless Russia collusion hoax? We're in for a lot more of that. They'll scream about how Trump is a criminal. And if you express any support for him or any interest in retaining, I don't know, the rights of free speech and due process, you're a criminal too. In fact, you are the threat. You're the threat. And just mentioning that you disagree with what is happening is an attack on our government. That's their style. Just the other day, after signing off on the Mar-a-Lago raid, your Attorney General, Merrick Garland, came on stage to whine about how actually he was the victim here. He's the victim. Apparently, some people disagreed with the raid, so the FBI, the most heavily armed domestic law enforcement agency in the world, is now under threat from you. Right, you're the criminal. Our critics are in jail, but I got anonymous threats on Twitter. Poor me. Passive aggression is the defining characteristic of the left. If they started putting people in camps, NBC News would cheer them on and then attack you for complaining about it. How dare you? Violating our norms. We've always had camps. As if to prove it, they prove it every day, but in the hours after the Mar-a-Lago raid, the usual jackals on Twitter began demanding that Donald Trump should release the warrant that justified the raid. If you're not...
I mean, everything that he's talking about with respect to the FBI and all this shit is like, if you were... If what you said was true, you would be in jail. You know what I mean? If the FBI was like arresting people for thought crimes and shit like that, like you would just be in jail. You'd be in jail. Like if the FBI was like going after domestic terrorists in the way that you claim they are, again, you'd be in jail, which would be kind of tight, to be honest. That would be cool. So once again, I'm begging the Democrats and, I don't know, the criminal justice system to operate in the way that like Republicans portray them. That would be kind of tight for no reason other than my own purely selfish desires. Okay?
Not guilty, you'll show it to us. That's what they said. So Trump did it. he gave the warrant to Breitbart News, which printed it. And then the second the Breitbart piece went up, the very same jackals started...
Yeah, because you put the warrant out with the names of the fucking FBI agents at a time when people are trying to execute FBI agents, which I think is funny, by the way. Not like funny in the sense of like, oh yeah, FBI agents are getting murdered or whatever. It's funny because like the people that are going to try and do that are going to get fucking owned and killed. So in a way that was, you know.
Started screaming about how right-wing extremists are putting the lives of FBI agents in danger, since those agents were named in the warrant, which is a public document. In other words, we're the victims here. We're the victims. It's always the same. Except this time, unfortunately, it could be a little different. Indicting Donald Trump is a very big step. Not simply because a lot of people like him and he's the former president, but because indicting him at this point would be to reveal that this entire thing, and by thing we mean our justice system, is just transparently political. It's just a means to an end, a means to power.
Yeah, now it's political. First of all, of course the fucking entire criminal justice system is political. It's never not been political. Oh my God. As a matter of fact, this is the exact same analogy that I'm going to make that is Gamergate adjacent, so you guys fucking comprehend this, okay? What do gamers do? Gamers don't think Call of Duty is political. Gamers think when Call of Duty has a woman as the main character, that's when it's political. And that's the same exact shit that Tucker Carlson is doing right now. The criminal justice system has always been political, as much as Call of Duty has been political. It's a mechanism to recruit more people and to go into the fucking military. It's a mechanism that like openly fucking whitewashes America's war crimes, sometimes attributes them to our foreign adversaries like Russia, like the Highway of Death famously was attributed to the Russian government in the latest Call of Duty installation, okay? That's political. That's political. But gamers don't recognize that that's political because that's the way it's supposed to be, right? And that is the same exact reasoning. The criminal justice system is not political when it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is create a two-tier labor system for black people that have been fucked over by American history, that have been fucked over by white supremacy. That's not political. That's normal. If it fucks over poor people, that's not political. That's what it's supposed to be. But the moment that it fucking turns around and impacts someone who is so grossly in violation of the law so much and so frequently that they try to, once again, take these documents in the most polite way possible, and he still refuses, and then they end up retrieving the documents, again, by executing a search warrant, that's when things get political. Criminal justice system has always been political. It has always been unjust. But for Tucker Carlson, when it's even a fraction impactful on his side, then all hell breaks loose. That's it.
And people know that at this point. They've watched it. They understand what's happening. Even people who don't like Donald Trump, even people who didn't vote for Donald Trump and don't want to vote for him in 2024. They know, and they can't unknow. And that means that we are at this point on the edge of something unprecedented and something awful. You could feel it. Even Donald Trump feels it. Maybe for the first time in his life, Donald Trump seems sincerely interested in lowering the temperature, not just for his own sake, but for the country's. He said that. He's never said anything like that. Maybe he doesn't mean it, but when has he ever said that? Let's all calm down a little, he said the other day. This isn't good. Yeah, he's right. It's not good. And not just for him, for all of us. This could get very...
Yeah, they could come after you, except they can, and they do regularly, you fucking idiot. They're not going to come after Tucker, though, because he's in a position of power, okay? Or at the very least, Tucker Carlson is like a little bit smarter than Donald Trump, which is not really saying much, and won't cross a certain boundary. And that's it.
Very bad, very fast. And the Biden people know that perfectly well. They know what could happen if they continue down this path of using law enforcement to cling to power. But they don't care because they're facing a repudiation from voters, and they're desperate, and they'll do anything. But at what cost? Pray they pull back before it's too late.